on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies here. Hello.
Good morning.
We have two birthday ladies in the building. Dige and Yeni and Nicola Pokuti. Tomorrow is your birthday, don't worry. I'm still loading. But we must still celebrate it. Let us not take advantage of the fact that we are taking YK. How are you doing? YK, how are you doing?
I'm fine, I'm fine. Thank you, I have to think.
Oh, that can be really painful.
We'll sort it out after the party, please. She just calm down.
No, we have to eat
now.
now.
You got swelling? I beg you.
It will come down.
It will
subside. It's time before my... That's why I want to go this week. I'm not...
Get it sorted.
Because if I don't, I won't be able to have it. I'm just in pain. You see how dull I am, just sitting down. Thank you.
How are you doing? How is everything coming along?
Fine.
How's the planning?
24th, we're shutting down Lagos. This is another Lagos is telling us that we cannot do party.
I know what it's
federal government.
Federal government.
Yeah, on their own. We'll modify it, right?
No, but she already is going to operate at 50% capacity. It won't be a full and observing COVID protocols, you know, so...
Let's be looking, let's be watching.
No, they cannot do it. Don't try yourself.
Okay, this 60th this year, they are shutting down.
They are trying us. They know now.
We must do this party. After this party, hey, you can shut down. Please, let us do this party. How are you doing?
Those women that have been abusing us, they want to do party.
They will carry their police, they'll be there waiting for this party. We'll see. Let's put it on social media. Anyways, we'll be very responsible. We know the drill.
We know.
We'll be very responsible. How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm very good.
Happy birthday in advance.
Yay!
Tomorrow. You've seen some pictures.
How are you
lovely.
YK.
But you know I'm going to be 60 now.
But does that mean I should announce my own? When I'm going to be 40, I would announce. It's 40 that all of us unveil.
Yes.
So just, they should calm down.
You know the truth.
That's not the truth. Some people would have been 45 years ago. You come and start saying I'm 40 today.
Oh yeah, we heard that someone was celebrating 40 and they felt like, no, how many times you do your 40th? Don't worry, people should wait.
I knew somebody who was like 28 or something for like 5 years straight. And I kept saying,
28.
What's happening? But there's no need to...
It's my memory failing me. You were 28 last year.
You're kidding me.
It is nothing but a number.
Oh, wow.
So any number you like, just take it.
How are you doing, Tokwe?
I'm very good. I'm grateful to God. Honestly, Mariah, if I tell you I have plans, I'll be lying. Yeah.
You're working too much. You're working too hard.
I just, but someone surprised me with the photo shoot yesterday, Flower Girl Studio. She just, like, she called me, said she will handle everything, did my hair, makeup, got the dress, as in, it was a beautiful experience. I think maybe we'll do like a group Your View ladies shoot there, because I love the ambience she has. Very beautiful. So I'm expected to see the pictures come out today or maybe tomorrow morning, but I'm really grateful to God for life. And if I look back at the past 1 year, a whole lot has changed in my life that is very humbling. So for me, the celebration is to thank God. I'm planning to do something for girls, Smart. I want her to help me to sew 100 outfits. You know, she gives away clothes to children. So I told her that I was fund, and maybe this weekend I'll do that to people that need small kids that homeless that will give clothes, because food they'll finish, but clothes they'll always wear. But that's basically all I'm doing.
It's cool. Well good. It's good to give back. But you see, I think you must be proud of yourself, because there's a lot of things you've actually. We've all seen you grow. See you metamorphose into this woman, powerful, strong woman.
See Mariah healing me on national television.
No, but it's true. You said something that, she said something that when she's 40, she prays to give out 40 houses. And I held on to it. That's by God's special grace and mercy. On the 40th birthday, you will give out 40 houses.
Amen.
Because God has increased you and you have capacity to dash out 40 houses. She said it casually. But I held on to it, yes.
I did not forget it either.
From your ears, Father, from her mouth to God's ears. How many years left?
Why are you trying to calculate my birthday? I will tell you after the break, but there's time.
How are you doing, BC?
I'm all right. I'm working, been working.
Working.
Conglomerates.
What can we do now?
Importer, exporter.
We have to start somewhere. We have to build this business. We have to mentor people to say, see how hard I'm working. I slept yesterday by 12 a.m. Yes, because I had to sort out some things. And I am excited that, you know, there's progress. I started very small. I started basically with no cash. I started this business with no funds, not as in nothing. I was just doing it and it's growing gradually. So I'm grateful to God that at least I have work to do. There are people who are looking for things to do and they don't have. And I'm getting a lot of young people say they want me to mentor them. I don't have a physical office yet, so I don't know where to put you guys. Just hold on a bit. Let's see how that goes.
We'll launch it big.
So 40 weeks when you're 40?
40 weeks are now.
40 weeks is small. I gave out 20 my birthday last year. I've done things with orphanages. Let me think of something big. Maybe cars.
Hey, nice. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's go on.
Mariah, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
I love your YK look.
Yes, more. Yes, so you guys acknowledge my YK look.
Yes, I love your YK.
Very YK. YK. These people acknowledge my YK.
I did when I walked in. I saw it. I
just
laughing. No, but you are the one that is getting the YK.
Yes, so
everybody.
YK, this hat.
And the hat tried.
She has seen the hat already, but this one, I'm coming up with different
ideas, and that's
YK is not an easy person to copy. So this morning when I was thinking, I was like, Auntie, just wear Ankara. The fact that you're wearing Ankara is great for me.
All right, lots is happening. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we'll start with The Nation. Southern governors to tackle crucial decisions on insecurity. Sanwo-Olu gets full backing to tackle security challenges. MTN Nigeria issues 110 billion naira bond. Why COVID-19 restrictions are backed by federal government. 11-man panel to probe NPA activities under Bala Usman. Presidency confirms attempted raid on Gambari's house. 1,200 to benefit from Kwara interest-free loans. And Adeboye's son didn't die, but sleeping, says widow. Okay, which story we started with Nation? I was going to start with,
We should do the good news. Kwara State.
Yeah.
Yes, so the Kwara State government is set to support young entrepreneurs in the state with interest-free loans up to 3 million each. So they said from 350,000 to 3 million, depending on the sort of business that you present. And this is to invest and raise a generation of successful young men and women. So it's tagged Kwarapreneur, and it's open to Kwarans not more than 35 years of age that have a viable business. It said a viable and scalable business, businesses that can grow. And they're saying that the registration is open right now. Application runs from May 10 to 18, and they're targeting 300 young people from Kwara State. Over the course of 4 years, there will be, it will be beneficiary to 1,200 persons. And the idea is not just to give funds. They are going to have like a process they are running, which is you're going to pitch your ideas, you're going to do presentations, then they will train you on business development before finally you get the funds. So it's a good one.
I like that part because I was worried about giving out money, but when I now saw the details of there's a pre-qualification and also knowledge training that will take place in addition, I think that is good. I will take the major headline.
I want to take Adebayo's wife.
Oh, Adeboye.
Adeboye.
She says her husband is sleeping, he's not dead, that she weeps, but she's not sad because she knows he's in a better place and he lived his life righteously, so she knows he's in heaven. But she's not sad. She's just weeping because he left her.
There was a service for them, I think, yesterday. It was really, it was a very, the vice president was there, his wife was there. Quite a number of other prominent people were there to, give their respects and all that. But I think they're going to be taking up more.
Yeah, but I like the strength that the general overseer is, showing to the world. Because, no, aside from the age, there's something that when you know where you're headed,
you're
not weeping like people who do not have hope. That's just what I got from it.
Okay, one more story. Nation.
Major headline.
Major headline. Yes, the Southern 17 governors are meeting. I'm happy that it's a multi-party meeting. All the governors of various parties are meeting. Southern governors are trying to, and I think they're being hosted by the Delta State governor. Trying to discuss and see how they can find
holistic security approach.
Holistic security approach towards what's happening. And And I mean, it's a good thing, but
the concern about the police stations being raised was also a major issue for them, so they'll be addressing it. About 16 of them will be gathered physically. I think maybe one person will be joining them, but let's see how it goes.
Others are outside doing Umrah, but at least either they send a representative or they'll be joining them virtually. But at least I'm happy that the governors are seeing the need to actually meet, to find a holistic approach, as you said. Moving on now to the Punch. Deadly COVID-19 variant. Experts warn as FG restricts gatherings, revives curfew, bans nightclubs and others. Quara floats 900 million interest-free loans. We talked about that earlier. Family kicks as murder suspect dies in police custody. IPOB denies planned attack on Lagos and police order probe. Minister leads delegation to Ghana over Nigerian traders ordeal. FG declares Wednesday, Thursday, and public holidays. Subsidy removal advice wrong. Implementation suicide, says Nupeng. Nigeria's economy is still fragile despite exiting recession. Okay, let's take the major headline, COVID-19. Who has that story?
I have the story. Let me get it quickly. So the federal government on Monday has announced that they're going to be restricting gatherings at worship centers. They're banning nightclubs as part of the measures aimed at preventing COVID-19. We've heard different stories that there are different strains coming up now. And the fact that one of the countries is really down, that's India, that was actually supposed to supply us our COVID-19 vaccines, they are really down. So the fear now is that if it's already in India and killing so many people, it could come to Nigeria. We do businesses with them, and we have a lot of them here. So it could come to Nigeria now. There's going to be a curfew, which is from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. Businesses are advised to be shut down, and there are experts saying that this is not the right time to do this. Economy, it hasn't really broken. It hasn't really broken us as a people, and we can find a way to live with it. So,
all right, the human interest story. Who has that story?
Yeah,
go ahead,
Ejioye, he went to, according to the family, he went to Ladiga, and it was a robbery in Ikorodu, and a robbery was taking place. So when the police came, the police fashion, they gathered all suspects, including Ladiga. He was in the police. He was in the police station. Then they moved him to Panti. To the special anti-robbery unit, and there he fell ill, and they took him to the hospital in Ikoyi, but he died there. So the family, they're protesting, they're saying he was innocent, they just arrested him, and then they've allowed him to die.
Wow. Okay, I was going to take the story about subsidy removal, because, we've been going back and forth on this issue of subsidy removal. So, if you recall, yesterday we took the story that the Presidential Economic Advisory Committee had advised that they finally once and for all remove subsidy, which we're complaining about. But I think it's the General Secretary, Nupeng, had responded. And according to him, that's from Mr. Olawale Afolari, he said that it would be suicidal for the country to remove subsidy as at now.
Yeah.
And according to him, this is because we're still importing the crude. That the only way we can deregulate that sector is if we produce internally. And where we produce our crude, we process it internally. But the fact that we're still importing, it will be suicidal for Nigerians because we won't be able to afford the actual cost of importation. So it's always that argument we've been having for years.
We can't, and I get what he's saying, because we don't have control over the dollar. And so every time the dollar goes up, the price will go up.
Yes.
And it's not, it shouldn't, and I think that the rush should be, and which is what all policymakers are saying, the rush should be for us to be self-sufficient in production until we get there.
Until we get there, so there's going to be that constant argument. Do we take it off, and people then don't have access to use the petrol? Or,
you see,
we can't, for they won't take the IPOP story.
As far as I'm concerned, because I remember when Jonathan was in power, everybody was against subsidy. They too were against the subsidy. Now they are there. They are saying that uneasy lies the head.
Let me take the IPOP story.
Yeah, so Lagos State, the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State got wind of the fact that there might be planned attacks on Lagos, and he announced it that IPOP is going to attack Lagos, and then the IPOP spokesperson now came out to say that no, they didn't plan any, they're not planning any attacks on Lagos. They denied the attacks, so it's now a...
Yeah, so IPOP, through Nnamdi Kanu said that categorically that it is wrong to take one tribe against the other. And even the Pan-Yoruba groups also responded and echoed what Nnamdi Kanu said that the police statement actually is wrong is misinterpreted, saying that the Igbos are going against the Yorubas. That is very wrong for the police to say that. That yes, that there have been times where headers have actually attacked and we've not had a press briefing from the police saying the same thing. That we should try not to incite hate against one ethnic against the other.
Divisive
comments can actually cause more problems. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're back. We're going to move on to Vanguard. Odua IPOB agitators on our watch list, says Lagos CP. Apapa bridges risk collapse over parked heavy-duty trucks, says experts. Amechi inaugurates 11-man panel to probe NPA activities. Apapa police LASMA compound traffic situation. Ohaneze fumes over army postings in southeast and south-south. My husband wasn't afraid of death, says Daria Adeboye's wife. Burglars raid chief of staff's residence in Aso Villa. Insecurity bandits attack Castina Mosque, abduct 10. COVID-19, FG reimposes nationwide curfew. All right, which story are we taking in Vanguard?
Apapa first. So there are two stories in one. I'll try and join it together. So there's been disagreement between security in and around the ports in Lagos over the control of traffic situation in Apapa. And it's the Lagos Ports Police Command, which is having loggerheads with LASMA. And this is further, compounding the traffic situation there. And one of the things they are fighting about is who would be collecting, who will be extorting, who will be in charge of extorting the trucks. According to the reports, they extort about 100K to 200K per truck. So because of the huge amount of money they get from that extortion, they are fighting who would take over, who would have control there. And the electronic call-off system that was set up also was truncated because they were still collecting money behind to let the trucks pass. It wasn't properly done. The release of trucks was not organized, admittance, and the fact that the environment cannot even accommodate all of the issues. So the report also said that the MPA is trying to, put new measures to see how that gridlock can be curbed. But experts, on the other hand, are saying that the bridges in Apapa, because we have a lot of articulated trucks that park there, they are likely going to be collapsing any moment from now. So an empty 20-feet container weighs 2,000 kilograms. A 40-feet container doubles the kilograms. With an average truck weighing about 14,000 kilograms, the total weight of 25 stationary trucks on the bridge, for instance, could be around 450,000 kilograms. On a daily basis, they have millions of kilograms on that bridge, which is,
no bridge is wired for that.
No bridge is wired for that, really.
All right, I was going to take the mosques. Working.
The mosque, it was Gambari's story inside there.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you took that story. I thought nobody was interested in that. But go ahead, please.
That his house was robbed. They had carried it online, and the house was robbed. And then Shehu Gaba came out to say, oh, yeah, it's true, the house was robbed, but Gambari says they were foolish to even attempt it. They didn't catch the thieves.
Wow.
But they followed their
They took away stuff, right?
They didn't. They said they didn't say whether they caught anything. They just said they caught them on CCTV. And it was a fault. And then the administrator, he was robbed on Thursday. Attempted robbery.
Okay, so if these sort of people can be robbed, where we decide
No, but I think that the reason that they will be more under attack is because they are more prominent and people perceive that they are rich.
No, it's the access. You say access.
Access.
So you can access
to
people like us. God, they can
I don't understand.
Because in those days, we would never hear that a big man has been robbed. It's only
people like us
that they robbed.
That we don't have kids.
Okay, let me take the mosque that was attacked in. What happened was that gunmen, suspected bandits, came into the early hours yesterday, abducted, according to the papers, 10 Muslim worshippers observing vigil in the mosque in Katsina State. Although residents say there were about 40 that were abducted, So we're still having the figure uncertain. But what happened was that they came in quietly whilst these Muslims were praying in the mosque, and they went out with them, and they only shot fired after they had actually put them on their bikes and zoomed off. Obviously, the police had guessed. Right?
But the police is saying that they rescued 30 of them.
Yes.
Well, yeah, so I didn't get to that point, but you're right. I think the gunmen abducted, but yeah, you're right. They did say that they actually rescued about 30 of them. So eventually, so we do have about 10 that were abducted. But it's quite sad that this happens even, and there was really nothing that could be done to prevent it in the first place.
So how do we even handle this issue of security? Do we now go around with security officials in the churches, in the mosques, in the schools?
We don't have enough.
We don't have enough. How do we handle this?
We should deal with the root cause. Insecurity is being fed by something. Somebody is profiting from it, and the hunger in town is leading to when people opting for that as a means of livelihood. So when we deal with the root cause,
and somebody is bringing in the weapons. I mean, and I know that our government tried to close the ports the other time because of these things, but still somehow they were able to smuggle it.
Yes. The Ohanese films over the army posting saying that a lot of northern commanders are being sent to the southeast to quell the tension there. And their complaint is that they should have stationed army commanders who have knowledge of the area and who are citizens of the area, because that way you can't accuse them of bias in any way. But as it is that most of them are from the northern area, though there's response from the army that that's not true, but we'll wait to confirm if the commanders posted to the southeast are from the north. I think it is the right thing for them to do, but if with the tension ongoing right now, we should be a bit more circumspect when we're doing things like this.
All right. Let's move on to the final paper, which is Daily Sun. FG bans mass gatherings, reintroduce curfew. Lagos police alleged plan by secessionist group to protest. NSAS PSC receives reports, promises to probe alleged police misconduct. NPM MD suspension, ministry to probe the contracts, and 40 Muslim worshippers abducted in Castina. Okay, which are we taking in Sun? I know that Minister of Transportation had put together an 11-man panel to investigate the activities of the Nigerian Port Authority, and according to him, in his remarks, he said that the decision was to look at the books of the NP. According to him, this is just a discharge of their duties as a ministry, and he doesn't see why anybody has a problem with it. That is just for him to know what's going on. That he has no idea what's happened since 2016. And he wants to be sure that nobody should give him a time frame, that he's going to take his time to do this, but it's something that must be done when they complete the assignment to let everybody know what they found. But it's something that
was supposed to be like an annual audit. For every time you get your allocation, you're supposed to do an annual report, and somebody should be checking it. But we don't know.
But based on what he's saying, that for whatever reason, he wasn't carried away. So, I don't know, but we'll see.
They've declared my birthday public holiday. Why? I did not want to celebrate, but now you want me to do party.
Yes, just a very short story. So the Nigerian army said the soldiers are fighting bandits in the north, have been able to kill about 48 of the bandits and rescued 18 persons held hostage for a while now. They were able to, so they mentioned the names of the 4 top commanders that they killed. Let me leave the names. But
I couldn't pronounce the names.
I read the names. I said I can't read this.
Let me leave these names. So they were able to, get from them AK-47 rifles, machine guns, bikes, and all that. So a lot of persons have been congratulating the Nigerian army to see if they can do more and just help us.
Right, I was taking a story that Wednesday and Thursday was declared public holiday, and you just moved on.
I don't know, guys.
Be hopeful.
I don't know.
Let's hope.
But they have not seen the moon yet.
But they've already declared it, so whether they see the moon...
If they don't see the moon, but the fasting can't end.
Till they see the moon.
Till they see the moon.
This is our country, and it's going to work.
I think for every show that we have, we should end it with saying, make love, not war. Let us love each other. One Nigeria. We are doing our own part to say, look, because you see the people advocating for war, half of them will not be here.
When it takes place?
They will be fighting from abroad.
Yes,
it's the people here that will face this thing. Your families will be separated. People will die. Come on.
Let's go on a break. Unfortunately, that's all we can say. But you're right. Let's preach love,
not war.
Not war.
Be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
for staying with us. So the federal government reintroduced a nationwide 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. curfew to curtail the further spread of COVID-19. Many Nigerians are questioning the rationale behind the shutting down of businesses and restrictions on social and religious gatherings. What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 0812-7053-687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so this is hot because we've seen what's happening in India. We are afraid if the government knows something they're not telling us, or if we might have a situation at hand that they're trying to manage, or they're just really truthfully being preventive. No, we're not sure which it is, but either way, we've all been guilty of complacency on the issue of adhering to the guidelines, and I think it's important for us to bring it back to the fore and to begin to discuss how we can social distance and continue this adherence. But many, someone like Shrine took for a long time.
Shut down.
They shut down for so long and they adhered to the rules so strictly. And now that you're just gradually trying to restart,
open up again.
They are telling us to move back. So, I don't even know where to start from working. But generally, what are your thoughts when you heard about these new restrictions?
I said they have come again. That was my first. Because first and foremost, as far as I know, the restrictions have never been removed. As far as I know that the 12 to 4 a.m. curfew has been there. Because if you're out, you will see police. By 5 minutes to 12, you see police waiting for you to so that they can arrest you.
Wow.
I have seen it. Not that they told me, I have seen it. So that 12 a.m. curfew was. So why are they saying, oh, we're just starting it? Now, states took the decision on their own to allow, because they can see what it's doing economically to their states. Because remember when Okonjo-Iweala said our GDP was what it was then? It's from the work of everybody. It's not from the government. Now what they're doing is they're killing the GDP. They're killing the small businesses. One, two, they're not helping them to grow after the killing. You're just saying, close down. I don't care how you eat. At least show that, okay, if you are closed down, I have a... Because I'm not... I went to Abeokuta at the weekend, and I was in the market, and I saw all the women there, they were not wearing masks. I was wearing my mask. You wear your mask, and you look like a stranger. You look like an alien. Everybody just looking at you. I want a coty deal, you know?
Yeah.
So I said to them, nobody is wearing mask here. I said to one of them, she says, Kosiko Rombi. That's how everybody thinks. Enlightenment. Keep telling people. I will say it forever. If you do not inform, then you don't have any mouth to talk. If you don't tell me, I know because I read and I watch the news. A lot of people don't.
Yeah, but I don't know.
So if you're informing people, say, look, this corona is real. Show me example. So people will be encouraged to wear masks.
So the good news is that we're not locking down yet. They've not locked down. All they're saying is reintroducing the restriction because they had actually relaxed it for a while, saying that we can go ahead.
They had never relaxed it. It was the states
that took that decision.
Yes.
Okay, so for me, I think that we need to protect ourselves. We're seeing what's happening in India, and we should be careful as a nation. But I don't think that the right approach is to lock people, to say that, to create a policy that would have no impact. Because it will seem like talk shop. You see, when you cry foul, 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 the day you are serious, people don't take you serious. So you say there's restriction, but we see that there's really no restriction. We say that we're following COVID guidelines, but we see some people that are above, they are the VIP class, and they escape, they gather crowd, there's a public video of the gathering of the crowd without nose mask, and they don't get penalized. So at the end of the day, it's more like, okay, you have started again, continue. The impact of partial lockdown, the impact of no parties, the impact of no social gathering affects many people. The clubs feed people, they pay salaries. The bars help people, that the ripple effect goes far. So when you say bars should lock down, it means people cannot hang out. It means that...
That's why I hear you. I was saying that.
Yes.
But let's be careful.
Let's be careful.
No, Mariah,
India had that same situation.
Yes.
And right now,
they are India, please.
Well, that was what they thought too.
That's what they thought.
So what I want to say is, following up on what YK has said, how well have we implemented COVID compliance? Are we using our nose masks? Are we mandating people to social distance?
Okay, so let me respond to that for a second, because I'm not speaking on behalf of the government. There's only so much they can do. The government cannot put a gun down your head and say, please wear a face mask. So it's still us, the people, that must respond. They can tell us, remind us, reintroduce it in any way they want to do. But if we don't do it as a people, it's not going to happen. And listen, the point is that I think also, as much as we like to say, don't shut down the economy, don't do this, don't do that. But if, God forbid, this thing happens such that we now have another third wave, there will be really no economy for us.
Okay,
so it's being preventive, and I think part of our role here is also to remind Nigerians of how important it is for us to begin to adhere to these guidelines.
So according to stats, Nigeria has so far recorded 165,419 cases of the virus, out of which 2,000 have died, while 156,000 have been discharged.
On record.
On record. So if you see the numbers we have compared to the 200 and something million that we have, I think there is no cause for alarm. I've always said this, that we do not know how long this virus is going to be here. We need to start learning to live with the virus, to live with it, to handle our businesses with it. There are countries that did not even have one lockdown, and they were able to come out of it. Countries like Switzerland, not one lockdown, and they were able to come out of it. So instead of locking down today, people are struggling, there's hunger in the land, businesses are not thriving. Those people who finally came out of the lockdown are just finding ways to stand up. You now introduce another partial, whether you call it partial or not, it's affecting businesses. We have a lot of insecurity in the land. That insecurity was even made more open and more, when we had COVID-19, because people had no jobs, and they had to the criminals had to resort to the stealing, the kidnapping, and all of that. You lock us back in, we are going to implode.
So let's be very careful. It's not a lockdown.
Yes.
I don't want us to run.
Whether it's a partial, no, they said clubs are not allowed to open. There were some.
It's a gathering.
Yes,
so
the bars,
bars
are not allowed to open.
But I think they still allow the 50% capacity. I think based on what I've seen.
We're not even sure, because some are saying 50%, some are saying 50 people.
Yes.
So we're not even sure whether some.
So it's the
transportation. So the transportation that we had, they said 50% capacity. We knew how that was biting Nigerians, because the transport fares had to increase. We have issues of fuel price right now, and the fact that the bus drivers were asked to carry just 50%. So I think we should enforce everywhere you go. Every organization, every establishment must have their water to wash hands, their sanitizers. You must have your face masks. We should have face masks for free, not asking people to pay 500 naira, somebody that has not eaten, to be able to wear face masks. Have it everywhere you go. If we can enforce this, and the fact that some of us have taken the vaccines already, we'll find a way to live with this virus.
Face mask is 100 naira. It's not 500 naira anyway.
I'm just saying, there are some establishments you go to and they collect 500 naira to
I'm happy you brought up the vaccine, because this vaccine that you're talking about, you brought inside a country of 200 million, you brought 4 million. Now you're saying you can't even give the whole 4 million because India
that gave it to you.
That gave it to you have said they're not giving you again. So you're not even taking steps to bring vaccine. America, they have vaccinated about 3/4 of the population in America now. Here, you have vaccinated less than 4 million people. Hey, are you calling yourself serious?
I think. Again, I'm not here to speak of the government, because the idea is to bring the government to come and speak to us. But the truth is that I know there are steps being taken, even within Lagos. I know the governor of Lagos is trying to see if they can even speak directly to some of these manufacturers to bring in for citizens. But either way, I think it's important for us to remind ourselves that there's only so much the government can do. At the end of the day, responsibility comes to us to social distance, reduce our outings. There's a time that we're not going to parties. It's now that, so we've all relaxed. We're now looking for. We've gone to parties. Let us not try. We've not gone to parties. I've gone to parties.
Me, I've not gone. I did not see parties.
So, Mariah,
I've not gone to parties. I've seen parties now.
So the point is that reminding you and I that this is our going out. This thing can still come, because whether we like it or not, God forbid somebody comes in from these areas that are quite that are having this issue right now, comes into Nigeria. God forbid, it's going to be crazy. We don't have our medical system is already weakened. It will further weaken it.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you said. But please, don't you think that's why I say implementation? India, they did it. I was surprised when they did it. They banned flights from India, Brazil, Turkey. Yes,
They were even flogging their citizens. Remember, they were flogging their citizens. Wasn't it?
Nigeria banned
them from coming in.
Those types of coming in, which I thought was totally acceptable.
Yes.
Because I would have done that. Now, you have to make sure that make sure that the person from India is not coming through China or Japan.
The borders.
You know,
the land borders.
Just make sure so that those people are kept at bay. That's number one. No matter if there is something that they know that we don't know.
Maybe somebody has even come in already.
Tell us. If the variant is here already, tell us. Don't hide it.
Nigerians, the less you know, the better. Let me go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we had to call Dr. Japheth because when we hear government saying all these things, Dr. Japheth, we know he's our own. So we'll find out from him.
Tell us the truth.
Dr. Japheth, are you there? Hello, Dr. Japheth, are you there?
I am here with you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you. You see, when it comes to COVID matters,
good morning.
we can always know that you will tell us, please, what is it that the government is seeing that we are not seeing? Is there something that is happening that you are not telling us concerning this COVID matter?
Is variant here?
Yes, so.
And it is due to what is happening all over the world, actually. I think the government is just trying to be proactive instead of reactive. So that is what is going on. We have new variants in some countries. We have increased social mixing everywhere now. Relaxation of the public health and social preventive measures all over the world now. And then some people have not received the vaccine. A lot of people have not received the vaccine. So some countries have what we call a third wave or a fourth wave. And then because of that, a lot of people are getting the infection afresh because there have been lack public health preventive measures. So I think the federal government is just trying to prevent that from happening here, because if you look around, you will see that our people have a lot of people have stopped wearing their face masks. A lot of people have stopped using hand sanitizer. I can't even say that health workers are left out. We have all let our gaps now, and then I think government is just trying to prevent what is happening in places like India from happening here. That's why the new measures are out.
All right.
So what other measures are they looking to adopt aside from the partial lockdown? Is there any plan to sensitize people the more? Because if you go to especially the rural areas, they've forgotten anything about face masks. They don't even care anymore. Is there any plan in that regard?
Yes, I agree with you. Not even just the rural areas, the urban centers. A lot of people are not wearing their face masks. But be that as it may, you would agree with me that in Nigeria, you cannot enter a bank, some government facilities without wearing your face mask.
Yes.
So wearing face mask actually helps us a lot in Nigeria to lower our infection rate. So compared to some other countries where you would just have the mask and the hand sanitizer there, and it was optional. Places like Ireland or UK, a lot of people, even in the US, a lot of them refuse to wear the face mask. And then that's why you see what is happening over there happening. No matter what, the limited number of people that wear the face mask, the rate at which they are spreading the infection here is reduced. Now, the federal government is also planning to roll out rapid test kits. These rapid test kits can test for COVID-19 faster than the PCR, the polymerase chain reaction test that we have been doing. It's also cheaper. And then, so by the time they roll this out, a lot of people can do what we call some form of mass testing, so that people will know whether they are positive or negative, so that they can self-isolate. So, and then apart from that, I also understand the federal government is expecting about 30 million doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Now, this one can vaccinate about 30 million people because it's not 2 doses. So imagine if we are able to vaccinate about 30 million people right now, it should go a long way. Yeah. It will help us.
That's great news. All right, let me get a few more questions in for you. Go ahead, okay.
So I wanted to ask you about the numbers. BC reeled out the official statistics. It's not scary at all. And some people would say that the reason that the numbers we have isn't a true reflection of our COVID experience. Do you agree with that? And do you believe that? Because some people will rely on that number and feel, well, no, it's not that bad. What's your own statement? Do you think we have accurate stats on the number of infections and the number of deaths? And would you say that we should still be very worried concerning COVID?
Oh, yes, we should be very worried concerning COVID, despite the fact that we have a relatively lower number compared to some other countries. Well, we may not say the numbers are correct because, like I always say, right from the beginning of this pandemic, we are not capturing as much as we should. But then again, the number we have is the number we have. It's the data we are working with, and it's not as bad compared to some of the African countries, European countries. It's not as bad. But then again, we cannot defeat COVID until COVID has been defeated all over the world. Because the way it works in public health is that if you still have this pandemic, even in one country, it can spread to other countries of the world.
All right.
So if you still have COVID in Africa, anywhere in Africa, or anywhere in the world, India, for instance, you would agree with me that we have a lot of bilateral relationships with India. We have a lot of heavy Indian presence in Nigeria. So we cannot say it is moving yet, even though our numbers are low, until these other people too also have defeated COVID-19.
All right, go ahead.
You were talking about we are wearing masks. You can go into an organization and they're wearing masks, but if you go to the markets, people have stopped wearing masks. And I think that government has to inform people about this. That is the only way. What is the government doing, the federal government doing about informing? Because you can't just say, I'm locking down your business indefinitely until... because you talked about Europe and America, they are easing lockdown. England has eased lockdown. Shops are open everywhere now. The pubs are allowed to open now. They had it bad. We didn't have it as bad as they had it. And then we are now the ones locking down. While they are opening, we that don't have it. So it's either there is a secret that people are hiding from us, or you are just locking us down to punish us. Which one is it now?
Well, in all honesty, I don't think there's any secret anywhere. The figures we are seeing is actually the figures that in fact, we have stopped testing in so many of the centers. So if you have stopped testing in so many of the centers, it means that there is no risk as such that will warrant us testing everybody massively. But then again, like I said earlier on, it is not yet in Hulu. We're not recognizing that fact that it is not yet in Hulu. And, well, we have let down our guard, but we decided that they don't want what happened before to happen again, so they decided they want to enforce now. So I think we should just do as much as possible to comply. Well, we know it's really difficult to enforce this face mask wearing of a thing. I really talked about government enforcing it, but obviously it may be very difficult. But then again, the best way we can enforce it is to ensure that institutions, organizations, business owners, restrict people from coming to their facilities without wearing face masks. That way, a lot of people will turn out and they will wear their face mask because you know, if you're not wearing your face mask, you're not getting into that bank.
All right.
If you're not wearing your face mask, you're not getting into that health center or that hospital. So that way, you would wear your face mask.
All right, so I'm glad to hear that.
Enforcement.
I'm glad to hear that we're expecting 30 million vaccines, which is great. But for those people who have already taken the first vaccine dose, there was talks about the fact that the second dose might be unavailable for reasons because India, the supplier, was actually restricting bringing these vaccines to the country. Could you confirm if those who have been vaccinated will get their second dose, or it's still a 50-50 situation?
No, I can confirm to you categorically that those who have had the first dose will get their second dose. In fact, very soon for that matter. arrangement is on to start the vaccination of the second doses of those who had their first doses. In fact, if it doesn't start this week, I guarantee that we may likely start next week.
Okay.
So there's no doubt about that. The vaccines are here for those people. They were reserved for them so that they can have their second doses. So that's so.
Thank you very much. All right, we have to wrap up with you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jack. We always like calling you because, you tell us the truth. So there's no hidden agenda anywhere. No problem. Thank you very much. We'll go on a break. When we come back, move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. If there's anything our viewers should have learned from your view in the past few years, is the fact that we've identified how important the National Assembly is in the scheme of things. It's not about the principal office of the governor or the president. It's the lawmakers. That's a major pillar that can help us to solve a lot of the problems that we have in Nigeria. So join us on the show to speak on the activities of the 9th House of Assembly as they count down to their 2 years of legislative duties, and also zeroing in on his representation to his own constituency, youth in governance and Oyo politics. Is a member of the Federal House of Representatives representing Iwaloja Kajola, Itesiwaju, and Iseyin Federal Constituency of Oyo State. Honorable Shina Abiola Pella. Welcome to the show, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Good to have you.
Iwajowa, not Iwaloja.
Iwajowa. Iwajowa. Thank you for joining us. So you can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. All right, Honorable Pella. We want to have Omoya conversation here. Yeah, no, because we brought, when I say Omoya, I mean that siblings conversation.
Yes, sir.
The reason why I say that is because we brought several lawmakers to our show, and we asked them questions. And we don't really get real direct answers. We want someone that you give us black and white answers. Give us answers. So we will try to pose those questions to you. Maybe we can get better answers from you. Okay. All right, so you'll be celebrating 2 years of your work as a lawmaker. And we've seen a lot of issues of insecurity in our country as we speak. Many have been fighting for decentralization of power, saying that we need to restructure. The Constitution is not working. We need to redo the Constitution, we need to review the Constitution. For the love of God, why is it difficult for the House of Assembly to take an actionable step as regards either reviewing the Constitution holistically or even decentralize power as it is as of today?
What you need to know is there's a process for everything.
Okay.
About the constitutional review is already ongoing, so definitely the constitution will be reviewed, and there's a committee, handling the constitutional review. Fortunately, I'm not a member of that committee, so I might not be able to speak deeply on it. But what I can assure you is constitutional review is ongoing, definitely on that. And about restructuring, yes. When things are not working, the normal thing is to go back to the drawing board and restructure. So I, as a person, I fully support restructuring. I believe that the country must be restructured. I believe in decentralization of power as well, because Nigeria is a diverse country with about 774 local governments, 8,809 wards. So, it is too cumbersome, it's too diverse. And I think that it's high time that we decentralize power. And when you want to decentralize, you still think about the autonomy of the local government, because it's not, you don't just pick one thing and just expect everything to fall in place. It affects the whole system.
I was using House of Assembly. I wanted to just correct that. It's National Assembly. I kept saying House of Assembly. Yeah. Go ahead, Tokwe.
Okay, so I want to ask about, see, like Mariah said, we've spoken to many of your colleagues, and there's a powerlessness in their answers. There's a case of, oh, it's not within our control, it's not, we only do oversight function, and considering the amount of money that is going to the National Assembly, I would expect a more powerful National Assembly that is aware and responsible and speaking for those you're representing. But I want to take it into a different dimension. We know the issues of this country. Core now is insecurity.
Yeah.
And we know that there are foundational issues that have led to the insecurity challenges we have.
Yeah.
So we had, like 2 weeks ago, one of the members of the House of Representatives saying that there was a oneness in the meeting, and this meeting they've agreed that the presidency, and I was waiting that when will we now execute on it? Till now, we haven't heard anything. The meeting that the Assembly had agreed that they want the president to put in a state of emergency on our security challenges. 2 weeks gone now, nothing. And that is what we hear, talk shop. There will be meetings, there will be press release, but no action. Committees are working. What paper was, they are putting together paper and no action. Yet people are dying every day, North, West, Central. What exactly would you say, because you have the benefit of being in there, is holding back the effectiveness of the House of Assembly to speak for the people?
You know, first of all, when you mention about the role of a legislature, you know, there are 3 key roles of a legislator. Number 1 is to make laws. And the second one is the constituency outreach. And the third one is the oversight. And about the making laws one, you know, there is a process to this. And we need to understand as a nation that the system of power that we practice today is democracy. It is the people's government. People, you don't just leave everything for the government. You must understand that you are key stakeholders in resolving this situation as well. You understand? There are some people, if the one thing that is missing in, you know, in peace building today is even the engagement of the youth. You know, the youth occupy the largest percentage of our population. And there is no way you'll be discussing peace, you know, peace building that you will not bring the youth on, you know, on board. And our politics plays an important role. And even when you're thinking about our politics, you must be able to understand some key factors as well, so that you will know that it doesn't just rest on the shoulder of the government. Because this government that we're talking about has 3 arms. You have the legislature, you have the executive, and the judiciary. Also, what have you forgotten about the role of religion? You need to get in the clerics as well. You need to bring in the religious leaders as well, because this play an important role in our system. Have you forgotten about our culture and heritage? We need to bring the traditional rulers together as well. There's going to be, we plan to have a summit in Ibadan on Friday, and this is just something that I am doing on, you know, on my own. And why I just decided to do that is because I see birthdays from different perceptions. Before, when it's almost my birthday, I always think about, you are adding 1 more year, and what are you going to do to celebrate? But now I'm beginning to see that in as much as we add 1 more year on our birthdays, based on what has happened between 2020 and now, the pandemic, the insecurity, how many people that we've lost, then we need to start to think as well that every birthday you are getting closer to your grave. You know, so I begin to ask myself that question, that, Shina, what do you want to be, you know, remembered for? Then I start thinking about how many people that we've lost. Then I said to my people, I said, this year I just want to have a security summit, a national security and peace summit. And I invited a lot of clerics. I invited a lot of traditional rulers, the Alaafin of Oyo, the Olubadan, the Oni of Ife, the Emir of Bauchi, the Emir of Mina, the Etsunupe, you know, to bring people, because these are key stakeholders as well. But as the people, we forget that we play a critical role in the system, because it is the people's government. Whether we like it or not, we want to fold our arms and we say, okay, even if the government has failed to meet up, you know, to the expectation of the people, if we are failing, are we not going to fail forward?
Right.
Okay. And most importantly, you have, you know, an opportunity, golden opportunity that sits ahead of us, which is 2023, when we would not have an incumbent president that is contesting at the polls. So that should give us, even as the people, an idea that how do we harness this opportunity that lies ahead? Right. Are we just going to fold our arms and watch it slip away? Because this opportunity comes but once. How many times have we had an election time we do not have an incumbent president that is contesting?
All right, let me let you come in here for a second.
I'm very happy with this security summit that you mentioned, the fact that you're bringing in religious leaders, you're bringing in traditional rulers and all of that. And one of the issues I found that has aided our problems is the fact that the traditional rulers were no longer playing the roles they were supposed to play. You know, growing up, if anything happens, you can easily go to the house of the Oba or the Bale, and they will fish out the person who has committed that meaning, and they will ensure that that person is properly punished. But you know, when the government system started, they took away those powers from the traditional rulers. Local governments in themselves that were supposed to be, you know, relating directly to the grassroots, we found a way to take away powers from them. Now, in your opinion, how best do you think we can solve these issues by ensuring that the local government is empowered, the traditional rulers are empowered, that we're able to reach the grassroots? Because most of our leaders do not feel the pulse of the people because they are too far ahead.
This is what we are trying to do at the moment. And as we speak, the National Assembly has set up a committee, you know, that is, you know, coming up with another summit as well. On this. And yes, hopefully, you know, like I said, on Friday we have a plan, you know, to have that at University of Ibadan Conference Center, and we have, you know, to have this proper discussion. And also, we need to understand that when we think about insecurity, it does not lie on the shoulders of just the generals. You know, there are some professors in the university, you know, that studied security, that they know how to profile solutions. On that day, we have a professor, Professor Albert, you know, that is going to, you know, present a, you know, a paper, a lecture on how we can be able, the role of the citizens, you know, the role of the institution, because these are the missing pieces in our, you know, in our system. And I think it's high time we need to start to pay attention to them.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. We're going to touch on other aspects of unemployment, corruption, issues, and even your colleagues' issue with customs. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So I would like to touch on youth and unemployment because, you know, we are seeing what's the source, the root cause of this insecurity that we are all seeing. And it's most experts have said due to joblessness of young people, the fact that many people they have idle hands. And we brought in a successful entrepreneur who said that if the government can call up all the private sectors, all the business owners across the country and say, you know what, hire 10 to, based on your level, between maybe 10 to 20 people in your company, that can begin to stir up the economy and even engages young people. My question, therefore, to you is, as a lawmaker, what are you doing? We've seen they are giving me 10,000 naira here, trader money here. What can we do to actually kickstart this economy where young people can be engaged? Not to work for somebody, but at least to become entrepreneurs of themselves.
The first thing I think that we should do is to first of all identify where our core advantage is, which I see the area of agriculture.
Okay.
I think there should be more, you know, awareness, you know, for youth, you know, to take part in farming. Like from my constituency or the area I'm from the Okeogun area of Oyo State. We occupy the largest landmass area in Oyo State, and we are the food basket of Oyo State, which means agriculture will be viable, you know, in Oyo State. And for me, as a House of Rep member, just this year, in January this year, immediately we came out of the lockdown, I did this empowerment for, you know, the farmers, where I empowered about 1,500 farmers, giving them mechanized tools so that at least we can be able to make use of our advantage, which is our land. You know, they can spend lesser time, you know, on the land and achieve more, you know, to do that. So I think on the side of the government, we need to start to think in that direction.
Right.
Look at where our advantages are and be able, you know, to push in that direction. But also, like I said, there are always a two sides to this. And until the people realize that they play an important role as well. You know, the people living in universities, they should first of all try as much as possible to make sure they come out in good grades. I have people submit applications to me, and they expect me to influence, you know, their employment for them. And when I'm looking at that, the first thing I will look at is I'll look at the ones that have 2 1s. That's what I'm saying. So if you're in school, you to try as much as possible to get a higher grade so that it makes it easier for you. And if you don't have a 2-1, you have a 2-2. Try as much as possible to go and learn a skill. If you want to be a carpenter, if you want to be a plumber, or so if, like, for example, as an employer, you want to employ a maintenance person, and you see somebody that just has maybe a certification from a school that is a mechanical engineer, and you see another person that's telling you that, okay, I have this mechanical engineering certification, but also I learned electrician. Also, I am a carpenter. Then it makes you, you're more valuable. So I think it's a two-way thing from the people and the government.
Do you think that lawmakers are overpaid?
Honestly, for me, I'll speak for myself. I don't think they're overpaid. Honestly, because I believe that I used to be better off before I joined politics than now, compared to now. As a person, I travel a lot. I'm always on the road. I'm doing too many things. So
there's a perception you have plenty of money. Is that true? That like people just spend money. Tell us the real. Is it because they tell you extra cost? Please help us clarify.
But I always like to speak for myself. Because even in the house, when there's a resolution in the house, they say if you are in support, say if you are not in support, say nay. You hear the ayes have it. And when the ayes have it, is a resolution that the House comes. But don't forget that even in that ayes have it, you still have some naysayers that it is not their way, but that is the way of the House. So, but when I sit down like this, I like to speak for myself. And if I compare my life before I joined politics, with my business, and when I'm in the House now, I can tell you that I get paid before in my business than what I'm seeing in the House of Reps.
Okay, so I want to follow up on your farming question because I have a farming partnership in Ubumosho. And one of the biggest issues we have, even after speaking with many other farmers within that area, is lack of visible government help. So we want to clear land, and there's a large land mass, and you're trying to clear land, and you're paying 50,000 naira, like you're paying per acre to clear. And then sometimes the truck would break down. Most of the time, the tractor breaks down, so you're stuck. And I know the government, the local governments are meant to have these tractors to support farmers, but it's not available to the number of farmers. So when you said you help with mechanized farming, what exactly
how accessible
is it? And then how can you get more of lawmakers, maybe the 3 or 4 people together, so that they can buy enough and the mileage will go further than one person trying to buy 1 or somebody trying to buy 2? We need more.
Our problem in Nigeria, when the problem surfaces, we just address a part of the problem, not knowing that there are other things that we can do to support that. When we're talking about even the decentralization, of power, part of it is the local government autonomy. If the local government operates, on their own, and they have their funds, and they do, all these things will not be a problem. And you can see that in the National Assembly, on the local government autonomy, it has been approved. I think it's been approved already, but it is just for the state government to key into that as well. But I believe that if we are able to do that, to let the local government function, independently, it will create more opportunities, in every sector.
More grassroots opportunities.
You can't say, if you see ordinary a councillor today, you look at what is the caliber of the councillor. But when the local government stands on its own, the councillor becomes somebody like a commissioner.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So then that is how they can connect to the grassroots. So it is not just something that I believe that we can scratch on the surface.
Easy.
So I still want to follow up on the farming because I'm really interested. And I know that young people are not interested in farming because of the way farming has been presented. And I would like the government to do more about it. So it's not just about going to the farm and farming the crops directly. Why don't we look at the value chain? So processing, manufacturing, packaging, so that people who go to school to study all of this can join. So you have a grandmother who probably has a farm, and then you have the grandchild or the relative who is handling the processing, the packaging, so that a lot more people can be interested. Is there anything government can plan in line of that to support young people to get into farming? Not everybody wants to get their hands dirty.
Yeah, that is it. I support you as well, because if you create a value chain in farming, it helps to create more opportunities for people. And yes, the government should do that. And I believe that, opportunities like this is when we have to, cry out and, point the attention of the government into that direction. But I know that there are some schemes, at the Central Bank of Nigeria, that supports this thing. I think I've forgotten. There is a particular name that Central Bank has for it, where they even give, I think, Yankobra, where they give, a portion of land. Even if you don't have a land, they tell you, come here and, they will give you this land. Then they will give you the kind of seedling, that they believe that you want to plant. And after planting, they have to do after you're harvesting, they do the transportation for you, they do the storage for you, and you get paid.
So the information is there, but people are not just accessing it.
This is, I have a tweet for you here.
Okay.
Santana Music. He says, I want to ask Honorable Shina, do you think this government has helped us at all? And please, can you say 2 to 5 ways you think or know, sir, if they have helped us as a whole in Nigeria, and what have they impacted?
Example.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, but
they have question for you. Yeah. My own job now is to give their question. But if I ask you my own question, they will say,
you cannot say the government has not helped, but what you can say is the help is not enough. So you need the government, to do more. And for me, like I said before, we need to always understand that we all play an important role in this. We are all stakeholders. We are practicing the people's government, democracy. We need to understand that we play an important role ourselves, in this. And we don't just fold our arms and say, if the government fails. If the government is failing to meet up with the promises or the expectation, then we fail forward. Especially
Pella, sorry to cut you off. Let me rephrase that question. Because we are practicing democracy, no doubt about that. But when you have democracy where there are multi-ethnic interests in a house, in a national assembly, so you have an idea of, okay, let's us decentralize power. Somebody else, another person, no, we must do this. And there's that constant fight. You are at loggerheads. You cannot resolve. There can't be one singular resolution where all parties have truly agreed. Because it's so difficult. We are now we are the pawns in this whole scheme of things, because we know what to do. But abroad, we hear of lobbying. So you lobby each other. You get people to come and convince you. Here is either yea or nay. So if democracy is working, which I doubt, because I internally believe that maybe we should try a new system of government. I don't know. I don't know. But is democracy, or can democracy really work for us as we are today?
And just to add to that, because you keep saying it's not about the government, the people to the people. But the people seem helpless.
Yes.
You are the people with the power.
God bless you, Ike.
So every time you say the people, I'm just here saying which people.
Other democracies, the people have power. Here we feel helpless.
The people, truly, yes, the people have their power, and we need to understand that. And especially when look, for example, you mentioned the National Assembly. The National Assembly is the power of the people, because they are the people's representative. And I believe that it is still high time for us to call our representatives to order, from our various constituencies, because if you are looking at the National Assembly, they are the one that represents the people more. They are the one that connects, to the grassroots. Every House of Rep member represents somebody in this country, and you are meant to be the person the spokesperson at the National Assembly, at the House. So for me, I still believe, the government might not. I did not say yes, the government has done well. No, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that the government has not done enough, to what we are doing. But you can't just say, the government is there and they are doing nothing,
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we're still discussing with our lawmakers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So before the break, Tokwe had a question. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, one of the things that many people are curious about is what exactly do they do in the committees? Like, when we have committee for power committee, there are many committees. What exactly do you do in the committees? How often do you meet? Like Nigerians, and then
this sitting allowance.
Sitting allowance.
Yes.
So, no.
Okay.
No, committee, they don't earn money for sitting allowance. No.
Okay. So we just want to know what they do in the committees. How often do you meet? When they say you are supervising, what does it mean? Yeah,
what the committee, the job of a committee is to oversight. Yeah. To oversight what the MDAs are doing. Look at their budget, look at the implementation of their budget, look at their performance.
How often do you people do it?
No, they do at least on weekly, sometimes too. It depends on what exactly that you're working on.
Okay, let me bring you to the recent Supreme Court judgment that dissolved the local government committee. Local government group that
chairman.
On that chairman, yes, on that was elected during the Ajimobi administration, and the former governor of Lagos, the former governor of Oyo State, Alawa Kala, had asked the governor to postpone the upcoming election May 22nd as a result of that dissolution. What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with him?
Yes, I agree with him, and that judgment is a step in the right direction. For me, I have a reason why I joined politics before I met myself here, and I always tell people, to do politics of purpose. So I joined politics for a reason, and when I begin to see the step in the right direction, and I must use this opportunity to commend the Supreme Court, for giving that kind of judgment where both sides wins. Because the local government chairmen were elected officers. They voted for them, and they had to be in the office, for a particular period of time. And, when they were sent out of office, and also, the chairman too, they could have resorted into violence. But they decided to go, in the line of democracy and go to the court. So for the Supreme Court to give that judgment, for the government to pay them, is a step in that direction, and we need to commend, the Supreme Court, because for me, when somebody does bad and you shout them down, when they do good as well, you need to commend them.
Before I come to BC, let me take Solomon from Akuti. Akuti, Solomon, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I want to ask Honorable Shina.
Yes.
You were asked earlier, did you think lawmakers are overpaid? You said no, that you were speaking for yourself. I didn't find that answer satisfactory. It's still the same dogged way you legislators come there and respond to questions. The question is big for the legislative house as a whole. Do you think you are overpaid? You said no. Now, that's one. Then number two, I want you to confirm, sir. Is it true that legislators go home with as much as 22 million naira a month? Yes or no?
That is a lie. That is a no.
Okay. Thank you for confirming, because that figure goes around on social media.
That is no. That is a lie. That is a lie. It's a lie.
Will you tell us how much?
If it is not, I don't know. I think it might be against. But I can tell you that that's what if I tell you that I believe that we are not. I do not believe that we are overpaid because of what I get.
What you earn is reasonable for that level.
Trust me. Yeah.
Okay.
Because even from the people of my constituency, they can testify to this. I'm in my constituency almost every time. I was still in Insecurity about 3-4 days ago. Within this year alone, I've been in my constituency at least a minimum of about 10 times. And from Abuja, even there, and the kind of work that we do in our old town halls, to address several issues, on the issue of insecurity. On even this last December. This last December on Christmas Day. I'm a Muslim, but I went to Iwajo local government. I went to the church service with the Christians, and after that, because of the high level of insecurity then, I decided to start to visit, the victims, in their homes, and I was going from one home to another.
Let me get a few more questions in for you.
Yeah, so I noticed that young people that have capacity, so we have young people who are just, struggling to survive. We have young people who are just trying to get their hands on whatever they see. But we have young people who are working hard, who have capacity. I've noticed that they are not interested in governance. They are not interested in business. So, and for those who now find that interest later on, they complain that the cost of being in politics, they can't afford it. So I want to ask you two questions. How do we, what's your take on, you know, independent candidates? Can we promote that so that people who are interested in politics can come in as independent?
Any political party.
Hey, you're not joining any political party. And how do you think we can revive the participation of our young people in active politics?
Okay, thank you. I will answer the questions in two parts. Number one, independent candidacy. Yeah, I would have loved if there was independent candidacy when I joined politics. I would have joined. I would have been an independent candidate. And sometimes it's not just good for you when you begin to have a dream that you know it's hard to come true, and most especially when you have an opportunity, you know, that is time bound. We have an opportunity to achieve a paradigm shift and get more young people in governance in 2023. Why? Because we won't have an incumbent president that is contesting. That 2023 is how long now? For me, in my diary, I have about 73 Saturdays to deliver the vision of the lead generation. Murayo was part of lead generation program on the International Women's Day. And what lead generation is doing, we answer the other question. Lead generation is a non-governmental, a non-partisan, and non-profit organization, an NGO, committed to building a new generation of leaders with an imbibed culture of taking full responsibility of developing their immediate community. You know, a lot of people, you sit down today and a lot of people, when they ask them the question, well, what is your problem? They say, oh, it's the president or it's the government. Wow. Yet, they are not the kind of leader that they seek for in the confines of their own areas. Some people have not even been able to sweep the floor of their house. Some people are not even cutting the grass in their area. You know, you should be able to come out and fix in your own area. That is just one, or take ownership of that area and let us be able, you know, to build us together. And that is what the generation is doing. You can see that we have this program called the Get Involved Leadership Program, where we go to a particular state, we identify like minds, and before choosing those like minds, we have the criteria for choosing them, taking education as an important factor, which they don't use in politics, and that is where we are today. You know, doing an integrity check to make sure whether the person has a source of income, because when there's poverty, integrity becomes the first casualty. Making sure that the person has access, you know, to the stakeholders in the area. Who are the stakeholders? The youth, because they have the larger number, and the women, the traditional rulers, because of our, of our culture, the religious leaders. You know, make sure. So when we have that, we go to that stage and we train them on their civic responsibilities as citizens.
Let me pause you because I have so many questions for you. Like somebody called. Hassan, are you still there? You've been holding for a while.
I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Please, I have a question for a member of House of Representatives.
Okay.
And it's for all of you in the House and the senior chamber, not only you. Please, if you people are really doing your job, oversight function, to see to the functionality of MDAs, why are we having all this sort of wasted inefficiency, looting going on in the MDAs? That's number one. Because you mentioned it here that you are doing oversight function. That's all your oversight function is to see to doing the right thing in those areas. If you people are not culpable, the recent one is the issue of FTA, where with TSA in place, the system is all remitting money to the central coffer. What are you doing about that?
Fantastic.
Because as a member, doing the oversight,
you've hit the nail on the head, Hassan. I think we've gotten the question. Because
yes, I wanted to understand what the committees are doing, because there's some things that will happen after a year or two, and you're wondering, shouldn't the committees have noticed this thing if you are doing your oversight? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I'm in support of that as well, because definitely the House of Reps, or the House of Assembly, National Assembly, is meant to be the watchdog, for these MDAs.
So that means they're not working?
No, they are. But, when you just mention, you need to understand that all these MDAs, it's not just one MDA that you have. It's not just one committee that you have. So you cannot just use maybe the few ones that are not working. And you need to understand, too, that there is a process. If you're a chairman of a committee, then you have the power to do that. I am not a chairman of a committee today. I'm not the deputy chairman of a committee today. I might not be in the position to answer those questions.
But you can raise the issues.
Yeah, we raise it.
You can raise the issues based on, this is what we found out. Because sometimes it takes like 3-4 years before an issue comes up. And you're wondering what exactly has been going on in the oversight committees for
We do raise issues, honestly, when we make our reports. We do make
How about the question of loyalty?
We hear these things all the time, that you raise issues, but nothing gets implemented.
Yes.
We've heard it.
So because of loyalty, they will not say anything. A lot of National Assembly members are disgruntled with the system, but they don't talk because they are loyal to the party.
Let me take this call from Yakub. Are you there?
Good morning.
Yes, go ahead, right.
Good morning to you because of this. Honorable Shina, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I am from Iwajo, a local government in Oyo State.
Wow.
Even though I was born here in Mushin Odiolowo and brought up in Lagos, before I go back to that local government. I know you because you said something earlier that you could have preferred run as independent candidates. The truth is that I have here at home, back home. If you did that, I don't have that in my mind. You are going to win the election. Because I can testify to what you are saying. Because you are a sincere person. It's not because you are in Morayo's show. Even though this is a show that I love so much. You are one of the honorable in the house that a sincere person. The example I can give this morning is that because you mentioned it earlier that you go to Iwajo, a local government, you attend the church service and all that, and then insecurity in that very particular local government. Yes. There was a time that the chairman of that local government was kidnapped. I know the role that you play, even though I would not like to mention it here, because you play a big role before the chairman released by the kidnappers. So just keep it up. We are in Lagos, some of our people that in the village, we always talk to them. We know the kind of person you are.
Thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking me to that issue, because it now reminded me, and I'll come to you work in a minute, all the things that happened in Ibarapa with the Sunday Igboho, and that started this movement of Yoruba nation, and everybody's saying they want to secede. They're saying they are done with this whole United Nigeria thing. What are your thoughts? I mean, I know various governors are telling everybody to calm down, but the people are aggravated. These are people in your constituency. How have you been able to handle that situation? And what are your thoughts on this issue of secession?
Okay. Firstly, on the issue of insecurity, I was going to talk about it before. On the day that I visited people, truly during that visit, it was to understand the modus operandi of the bandits, to see how they operate. Because as the people, we have a role to play as well. So during my visit, truly, I could identify that people that were carrying out those nefarious activities, they were Fulanis.
Okay.
But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that every Fulani is a bandit.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Because even from interviewing the victims and the way they were talking, Yoruba doesn't speak like that. So that is a Fulani that will speak like that.
Yeah.
And after that, I called a security meeting, bringing the traditional rulers, the Fulani community, the security agents, that's the DSS, the police, and the NSCDC, bringing everybody together and trying to find a solution to that. And during that time, we were able to understand that, yes, the Fulani, they said to them, some have been living there for 30 years. That there have never been that kind of issues before. But the people that are carrying out activity, they are people that are infiltrating through the forest into that area. And I came up with an idea. I said, okay, everybody in this area, I'm going to supply computer and biometrics. So Seriki, carry all your people, tell all your people to go to the police station and go and register and take their fingerprints, what they do, how long they've been here, and their purpose of being here. So when something happens and they owe somebody, and that person's name is not being taken in our record, that means we need to face the wrath of the law. Yes. And since we did that, the whole thing reduced.
Wow.
And that is why I always say that as a people, we must understand that we have a role to play as well. We don't just fold our arms and continue to play the blame game. to make this, to find this solution. For the secession, trust me, I will tell you it is the wrongest way to go. I am a Muslim. I understand the existence of people. God created the land before men, and God created us from sand, and that is why we go back, we'll be buried that way. And we came from a source before we became a Muslim or a Christian, or a Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa. Even Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during his last sermon, was to promote unity. So a good Muslim will not tell you that you should you should divide. You must find a way to resolve your issues in order to have a peaceful coexistence. We have been enjoying that before, and we see no reason why we cannot make it happen. We would have our challenges. Yes, in Nigeria today, we have lost over 1,000 people in the last, 6 months or less than 1 year. But don't forget that even in India, they have lost 3,500 people to COVID-19 in 1 day. So people will face challenge. We should rise up as a nation, come together and be able to find a way to coexist.
I think on that note,
that was inspiring.
On that note, I think we can end the show. Thank you so much, sir. It's such a fantastic
it's always a
time
pleasure.
with you. And I think it was very sincere.
Yeah.
We've seen that, and we continue to bring people like you because we want to hear the truth. Thank you very much for joining us. So we're celebrating Waike's birthday this month. She's going to be 60.
Oh, yeah.
So we promise that every Tuesday and Thursday we'll try to give her something just to start working our way to 24th of May.
Yes,
so we are throwing with 24th of May a big day. But for that day, we'd like to present you a gift. Waike.
Oh, thank you so much. Wow.
Waike, his birthday is coming up. You like it?
I know.
I love it. Wow.
What is it? Show the camera and let them see what it is.
I'm sure she will love it.
Yes. Very white-ish. Cowrie earrings, cowrie.
It's a joint committee issue.
Thank you, ladies.
Happy birthday in advance again.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we are working
because of you, they say everybody saying happy birthday to me on the
Happy birthday.
It's 24th of May. We are working towards it. But 60 is a big age.
Yes,
It's a big age, and we don't want to just take it like this. But tomorrow is Toko's birthday.
Yes.
So we're working towards
mine
that.
as well.
Happy birthday.
Imagine that.
We are special people.
Exceptional people are born in May.
Mega people.
Please, as a gift to me, I want you to just talk to the youth, because it's not just, I know there's no time. There's no, everyone is saying the youth, but if your mindset is wrong and you have a chopping mindset, Nigeria will not change. Tell me how they can change. And one sentence. Really.
Yeah, the youth is just to get involved. That is it is high time for the youth. It is high time to. Okay, yesterday I was talking to somebody.
Hey, we don't have time.
I asked the person. I said, which local government are you from? The person could not even understand until he called somebody. After he answered, I said, who is the member representing your local government? He said he doesn't know. And I said that now, you will complain that the president doesn't know when you complain. And you at your own level, too, you do not know. So our leadership in Nigeria is a reflection of the people. So until the youth, they see the reason to participate actively. Okay. And that is why you need to join the generation.
On that note, we have to wrap up. Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
Okay, enjoy the rest of the day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.